Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of continuo thing, I guess. Alright, so this one, we're going to get a little bit more Telemann today. A little bit more Telemann. We're going to do number 29, Wind. It's been very windy here in Los Angeles. A lot of blowing around. So I thought, hey, why not? Do a little bit of this, okay? So it's in 2. Got a kind of a nice little feel to it. It's weird. It's weirdly chromatic, so we're going to talk about that. So, kind of a strange one. All right, so I threw in a little bit of embellishment there on the second time around. If I was to play this again, I would honestly say that first thing there, number 29, that first repeat, I'm not the biggest fan, maybe musically. I mean, I know text-wise it's probably really important, but musically, I don't know. And then it repeats, right? So let's just take a look at that. So here in the music we have So I would say, for me, honestly, we have a long, short, and then kind of a little comma action, and then another little comma here, da-da, and then we kind of retake it, da-da-dee, and we kind of lead into that G, and then we kind of fall off there, where we get a nice big comma, down. So what we're going for here is the gesture of this. We go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So we want 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. And so to do that, we're going to take our bow, and what we're going to do is we're going to kind of push into that first note. We're going to use our fingers here. We're going to go. See how I'm doing that? Not with the wrist though. It's not a wrist action. It's actually right in my fingers. I'm going to go. So notice how we have a long, short. So the way I like to do the long is we're going to get a little bit of movement, right? A little bit of arm movement, but mostly in the fingers. So we're going to go. So we go long, jump. So, right? So now that's kind of a lot of sand. Maybe. So we want to go. Right? So that's where you can decide. Do we want to go more sand? Sand meaning that kind of stuff, right? So we want to go. Right? So now let's play this a little bit more in a light texture. We're going to take off that aggression, that kind of sand. We're going to go. So you notice instead of with my fingers putting a lot of pressure in there and going, I'm just kind of using it sort of in the middle, a little bit lower, going. Okay, so that's a lot of words to say. We want to go long, short. So we go. And then see how that in that second measure there, we're going to go like this. And we're going to use our fingers. You notice how I pushed that far. I was up here before. Now I'm all the way down here. We got So you'll notice I kind of have a lot of gunk right here. This is the classic thing. All of your teachers will tell you should not be doing that. Now, you see, if you looked at my modern cello, you wouldn't see that because, when we're playing stuff with our modern bow, we're doing a lot more kind of, playing around with that more contact zone. And when you're doing more contact stuff, it's helpful to be down there. Also, just modern strings in general just tend to operate a little bit better down there. There's a lot of you know, great things about that. However, I will say one of the cool things about gut strings is that you can get a really decent tone actually out of this area of the cello up here. It kind of has this really diffusive texture, and I use it a lot because it's sound, but it's very diffusive, so it fits in really nicely. Now, see, if this was a bona fide Baroque cello, probably this chunk right here would be taken off of the bridge. And you could do that, I guess. I just, it's kind of expensive and not very necessary. But hey, if you're a purist, you know, whatever. But anyways, so we have this. And so the reason why I say that is because you'll notice how I'm going kind of from this area, this diffusive, and I'm pushing down into that with my fingers and a little bit of pronation there. So we're going to go... Right, and so that's kind of extreme. Let's just do this a couple times, and just to see how it looks, we go... You notice how I'm really trying to push that note out, but also let it go at the end a little bit. So let's just try it now with a little bit less aggression there. Let's try it a little more punchy now. I don't know which one I like. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know which one I like there, but it depends on kind of what texture you're going for. Are you going for like wind, or are you going for like wind? You know? Okay, so we go. That one's just weird. You're just gonna have to kind of like pretend it ends. So now let's usher it into this next section here. You know, if you look at the music, before we kind of have movement, and notice how up here we have the same thing. It's dum bum 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 bum, right? We go dun 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 up there in the whoever's singing. Now all of a sudden though, we have a very kind of slow texture here, and not a lot of eighth notes. And then over here we have all the eighth notes, right? So over there, that might be a little chance for us to say, hey, that's a great time to maybe throw in some ornamentation there. So we have, you could do that, or you could go. Now, I would say because we see a lot of this figure, we go, we have a lot of that in this. If you're going to add something, I would say if you want to add it, probably you should stick to like that, because the audience will hear that and be like, oh yeah, that's supposed to be there, right? You're not doing something weird. So going like, that sounds odd, right? Even though all I did was I switched in this second measure here. All I did was, instead of ornamenting this note, right, I ornamented this note. Actually the opposite of that. So just pretend like I said the opposite of what I said. I didn't ornament this note, and I ornamented this one, right? And so what that did though was, we wanted to hear 1, 2, and, right? And instead we heard 2 and 1, which sounds odd. Let me just play that for you guys one more time, just so you can hear it, so that I can correct my mistake. Notice how that sounds instead of... Or, okay, so I would also say if you wanted to add a little bit of excitement here, we can add in some Ds. We can throw in a couple of D eighth notes, right? Kind of pushing the energy over here. And, you know, I mean, you can do that. You can do that. Let's hear how it sounds. Okay, we got a... Okay, kind of fun. Kind of throw it up in the air there. Let's try it again, a little bit more refined this time though. And when I say refined, what I mean is I was kind of slapping around there a lot, right? You see this kind of stroke where you're going like a, you know, you're kind of getting a lot of slaps. You're getting a lot of, you know, throwing your bow around in the air. So we go, let's just do the opposite though. We're gonna go, okay, let's add in those extra notes now. Okay, that's interesting. You notice how I'm trying to keep it a little bit more level that time. Let's do it again though, and let's just like I wanna do this a little bit more aggressively. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pack a little bit more energy into my right hand. I'm gonna kind of be using a little bit more pronation, and I'm just gonna be gripping the string a little bit more. A great way to visualize this is, you know, with gut strings, you actually can do this, is you can really move the string like quite a bit before you make any noise. That's what I mean by gripping the string. You're gonna get in there with your index and your middle finger here. I have a lot of piano students, and so I can't say first and second because they think first and second, you know, it's first and second, right? So no. Your index and your middle finger, and you're going to really pronate into it, and you see you can really wiggle the string quite a lot before you make any noise. That's what I mean by gripping. We're going to grip the string more. Let's try this. All right, let's try a little bit less grip now. So you see, playing around with the grip really can change it. I'm going to play it with like light grip now, light grip. Now, I think that if you were playing with a harpsichord, that would be appropriate. If you're playing by yourself and there was no other harpsichord, there was nothing else, you kind of want that, you want that presence, so you would want to be more of a... You kind of want to be more present, which brings me actually to this next part, which is just kind of weird, right? Because we have this another chance there to embellish, because we don't have a lot going on in the upper line here. So you notice how we just have this nice big scale that goes all the way down, and then we have sharp 6, sharp 5, sharp, and then a B there. So we have a chance to maybe embellish that like this. Right, we can get that C sharp. That's reachable, and that kind of makes sense, right? Or we could go. That sounds right too, okay? And then that doesn't sound right for the same reason that we said before. You want to hear 1, 2, and 3, right? You don't want da da da, unless maybe you're trying to make a point. If you're trying to make a point that this one was different, then yes, that would be good. But I don't think that this is the time. So we have this kind of scale that goes all the way down, this nice scale, and it goes. So I think with this one, you just want to carry it, right? And you don't want it to be short. I think that if you make these scales short, then it just kind of defeats the whole purpose of a cascading scale all the way down. So to hear it, short would be just kind of sounds silly, you know? And also the whole point is to just go from A down to this, down to the E there. So we want to go. Now I would say maybe the E, F sharp, outlining the F sharp, sharp 5, sharp, whatever that is. Embellishing that chord is the safer option, because then you don't have to reach down for that C sharp, which can be a little treacherous. Now, let's talk about the stroke, though, because it's not just a legato stroke. We're not just going all the way down. We're not just doing that. So it's kind of somewhere in the middle. We go. So what I like to do with these is it's all noise. So you see what I'm doing here? Instead of going, I'm just going, it's kind of a bounce, but then I just use like too much bow. So I like mess up the bounce. You notice again, it sounds a little bit better up here because I'm using kind of too much bow, right? And what that does though is we get this nice separate texture, but we also get a connected texture. So we go. So you see what I'm talking about? It's all about throwing that energy out there, and so that kind of pushes it all the way down without actually having to play a legato scale, because if you played it legato, it would just sound kind of odd also. So we go there, the kind of a similar vibe to the beginning. We're going away, and then we're pushing into the right, and don't really need that much embellishment there because it's already being embellished. Now, you could make a case for that last note here, this guy right here, sharp, the B sharp there. You could make a case for embellishing that one too, but I don't actually think so. So let's just try it. I'm going to show you why, because we have, right, we're going down. I guess you could go, but that just doesn't add anything. You already know it's a B, right? You already know it's a B chord. But what that's telling you is it's a, right? And so you could go, that doesn't really work because it's not in the chord. I mean, it sounds right now, but if there was stuff going on, it just wouldn't really be like, that just wouldn't jive. So we would probably have a, that would be our option that we have available to us, or a, and both of those don't really sound right. Yeah, I'm just not a fan of it. I'm just trying to think of a way that you can make that work. I just think that 1, 2, 3 is very simple, and it is effective because it's the end of the piece. You know, you don't want to be throwing a whole bunch of stuff here at the end. And so just 1, 2, 3 is just, it's just nice. So if you start a couple measures before that, you have, and you notice how those last 3 notes, I'm going 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So we get these nice. It's a swipe, another swipe with a grab, and then a nice start the note and let it go. Go 1, 2, 3. Instead of, we want, right? You notice how it outlines the chord the right way, and it also pushes you to the right area, but it doesn't like make a huge deal out of it, which is kind of important with some of these cadences and stuff. You want to outline the cadence, you want it to be important, but you also don't want it to, you know, smack the audience in the face with this nice cadence. So, you know, all right, you've made it through wind. We've made it through wind. I'm actually just going to take this time here right at the end to play it maybe one more time. Let's just hear it now that we've kind of talked about a couple of these different strategies. Let's just play it one more time. So we go 1, 2. Ooh, I almost fell off the cliff there in the beginning. You see, when you start to get into the embellishment stuff, it's like sometimes I'll back myself into a corner. I saw that 5 and I wanted to do something with it, and I was like, So let's do it one more time, and let's just think about, like, I'm gonna play this one a little bit more aggressively now, okay? Instead of kind of what we talked about. So. So we have a little bit more of a firm approach there. We have kind of a watery approach, and so you can kind of go a lot of different ways. But I thought I picked this one today because it's kind of a little bit more chromatic than the usual offering. Kind of has a few more things in there, and a little bit more of an opportunity to start to improvise and embellish, which, you know, is always a great thing. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed watching. If you enjoyed this video, please just give it, you know, a nice thumbs up. Maybe think about subscribing if you want to see more of this kind of stuff. Planning some new videos, and I might have the time to record another one this week. So if you made it this far in the video, I will see you next time. Bye-bye.